Welcome to LAT Uncovered, Season 2, Episode 3, all about athletics versus academics. In this episode, the truth about our reputation will be exposed. Will it be promising or problematic? Well, that's for us to find out.
Everyone, I'm Nicole Naini.
And I'm Nicole Hughes.
So I'm the president of the Model UN team, debate, business club, and I regularly do speech competitions here at the Abbey.
I am part of the indoor and outdoor track team as well as the swim team at the Abbey.
Okay, so seeing as we are involved in a lot of academic and athletic extracurriculars, we thought it would be super interesting to see how other schools, both inside and outside of the board, perceive us. So how do you think people perceive the track teams and the athletics at our school?
In terms of athletics, we definitely have a few very talented and standout athletes that do exceptionally well at all the meets we go to. But then we also have this misconception that we're not really serious about the sports that we're doing and we're just there to socialize.
I honestly see that a lot in Model UN too. It's the exact same, literally. We have a good group that we do really well, we win awards, but then there's also those few people that they're just there to socialize, and I kind of find that takes away from our talent. But we're honestly lucky that at least for us, people still perceive us, I think people perceive us as
100%, yes,
really strong and hardworking, which is what we want to keep our school's reputation to be like.
And I feel we also have this misconception of being a private school or a little preppy in a way.
Yeah, I totally see that.
I'm not sure where it stems from.
I think genuinely it's the building.
I think it's the building.
The building, the location, even the uniform. Everywhere I go in Model UN, it's not even a question. People just assume that it's a private school.
But also I feel our demeanor, we're very mature students at our school, especially the ones that are involved in all these things we're talking about. So I feel that's where that comes from a little bit.
Yeah, I totally agree. So honestly, it's going to be super interesting to see if our perceptions are correct and how people perceive us.
What's definitely going to be interesting is if we have moved past the reputation of being Scabby Abby or Ghetto Loretto.
Yeah, the names that people used to literally always call us.
Because personally, I think we have. I don't hear those terms at all anymore.
Yeah, I think we've genuinely moved past it, and our reputation has changed.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see.
So now for the super interesting part, we're going to be bringing on a couple guest speakers from different schools all around Toronto, private, public, single gender, and mixed.
And they're from both realms. So we have the athletic and we have the academic perceptions.
And we're going to be seeing what their perceptions are of our school, both positive and negative. And then after, we're going to be seeing if our perceptions before hearing these were correct. And we're so excited to see them because some of these people we're pretty good friends with, but other people we're not really close with. So we want to see if how they perceive our school and if, we're going to be surprised with anything they say.
Now, let's start off our interview with our first question. What is your name and what school do you go to?
My name is Mazen and I go to Crescent School.
Hi, my name is Camila and I go to Havergal.
How are you associated with the Abbey?
So I know Loretto Abbey through Model UN since Crescent is involved with many conferences outside of the school, and we often see the Loretto Abbey team over there, whether it be in Montreal or at Havergal or a variety of conferences.
My relationship to the Abbey is Model UN and mock trials.
What is a positive perception you have about academic extracurriculars at the Abbey and why?
So a positive perception that I have about the extracurriculars is that it really seems like you can, if you're at the school, that you can start up something you have, if you want to start up a club about a topic that you're really interested in, whether it be business, investing, politics, specifically with Model UN. What I've seen at least is that these clubs have started out small, with as few students, and these few students have managed to make it a big thing and to garner lots of interest.
So one thing I've noticed about the Model UN extracurriculars at the Abbey is that they do get a lot of recognition once they do well. So the students, the teachers, and everyone involved at the school recognize their achievements.
Honestly, so we were pretty close how we perceived it. So seeing both of their responses, they perceive us to be pretty strong and hardworking people.
I do think that we thought a little lower of ourselves than we were perceived.
I was so surprised. Like the fact that they honestly recognize that we started our own clubs and that we have that school support. Honestly, what they were saying is so accurate. Our school is one of the few schools where you can start any initiative you want. You have the teacher support, you have admin support to really do well. That is something that you don't really see in a lot of schools. And going above that, once we do start these clubs and we go compete and we win, our school really does celebrate those wins, which makes it super rewarding, and it inclines us to keep doing well. So I really appreciate how they recognize that.
Even through the announcements and like the emails that are getting sent out every week at school, I feel like we're always celebrating the accomplishments of these clubs and like the academic success at our school.
And the teachers are always there. They read the emails that they get, and they always, every single time I get the teachers around the school say congratulations for doing this, and that just gives you a sense of like they actually know what we're doing,
and what you're like, the hard work you're putting into the stuff that you love to do is getting recognized.
It's such a rewarding feeling.
Before we jump into the third question, we have a quick sponsor.
This ad is sponsored by Loretto Abbey Big Sister Program. Are you interested in being a big sister? Helping incoming students around the school? Creating memories with your peers? Well, we're inviting you to join the Loretto Abbey Big Sister Program, a program where you will have the unique opportunity to mentor, guide, and inspire students around the Abbey. The Big Sister Program will make your Abbey experience one to remember. You can be paired with your new athletic or academic buddy, where you can truly be a leader. If you're interested in joining, come speak to Madame Burchell for more information.
Now for our third and final question, what are any negative perceptions you have?
A negative that I did notice is that many students who are involved in these extracurriculars tend to have burnout just because they are trying to balance school and work and their personal life at the same time. So many students, they just end up focusing on one sort of academic thing rather than diversifying their extracurriculars.
The other thing I think with these extracurriculars is that there's a lot of added stress that comes with it in terms of, just like your daily life. You wake up in the morning, maybe you go early to school to do something, and then, you're at school from 8 to 3, let's say, and then you've got something after school, and this happens throughout the week on numerous days, and then you come home late and you gotta do your homework. So I just think that there's a lot of added stress when it comes to these extracurriculars, so time management could be really an issue for many people. And then the other thing is that oftentimes, and I think this applies more so to academic extracurriculars than it does to things like sports and other activities, but it causes a lot of sort of like burnout because from a repeated activity you might get really tired of one certain thing. And so I think variety and like mixing things up is a very good thing to be doing when it comes to these sort of activities.
Didn't really expect to hear that. We'll start with the first one,
Yeah, some of them are kind of true though. They got a point.
Okay, so we'll start with the first one, which was like the first they talked about the lack of balance with how, for example, for us doing academic extracurriculars, how like that's literally all we stick with, which is honestly really true.
Like that's kind of how we're making this podcast right now.
Yeah, it's like
we're
the whole
both
point.
Specialized in our own like categories.
Exactly. For example, I do Model UN, I do speech competitions, debates, but I don't have any athletics, arts, music.
I feel like it's also because when we are involved in certain things, it takes up so much time because we're so dedicated that it's like you choose what you're good at and you stick with that.
It ties into the next part, like that exhaustion, burnout. Like when you're excelling at these at like such a high level, you don't have that energy to now start trying like a sport or an art or music,
and
because
it's hard to spread yourself that thin and still be successful in both areas. I see how that can be perceived as like kind of negative way.
Yeah, because the burnout, that's people see us, really it starts getting to you like at the beginning of the year, you come in with a very positive, strong attitude, but then closer towards like March and April,
I feel like it's mostly perceived at our school because we're non-semestered. Like it's hard to keep that energy going throughout the year. You don't have those. You don't have that break.
Exactly.
Break it up.
So when you have such a long year, and then school, there's points where school's getting tough. Then that also coincides with the level of extracurriculars that you're doing, and that's why they're seeing us honestly sometimes being burnt out.
And especially if like certain sports seasons are in the middle of certain like debate competition seasons, that
you can't do both.
You can't do both. We definitely learned a lot about their perceptions for academics. Now we're going to transition on to the interviews for athletic perception. Let's start off our interview with our first question. What is your name and what school do you go to?
My name is Asia Saratsiotis, and I'm a grade 11 student at Michael Power St. Joseph High School.
Hello, my name is Makai, and I go to Neil McNeil High School.
How are you associated with the Abbey?
I know Loretto Abbey through the soccer team and track team.
I know Loretto through track and swimming.
Now for our second question. What is the positive perception you have about the athletic extracurriculars at the Abbey and why?
At most of the events, I noticed that there is very high team spirit within the Loretto Abbey teams. They know how to work very well with each other. They know how to encourage each other, hype each other up. They know how to bring good, positive vibes. And they know how to have fun. I see them supporting each other every time. And they're just a very proud and supportive group.
I would say a positive perception about Loretto Abbey's extracurriculars or athletics is that they have a very supportive team behind them. They usually excel at what they do with like anything that's like school oriented or athletics based. They have a very supportive coaching team or teachers that help achieve the most that they're able to achieve, and in doing so that brings way better results than what I've seen from other schools. There's a lots of team encouragement from the girls at their school, and it's a very wide range, and in any environment they're in, they're usually one of the loudest people there encouraging their team members.
Now before we jump for athletic are a little bit more obvious. I totally agree with these. Like at these track meets that we have, Mr. Bregan's always at the finish line.
Yeah, I always see
our
everything.
races,
He's always taking
recording
pictures.
our races, making sure everyone has their bib numbers, making sure everyone's at the right spot, right event at the right time. He's always taking our times just in case there's any issues.
Yeah.
And it's really helpful to have like the support while you're on the track team. You're nervous for your events, and having someone there to like really guide you through this is also him being able to like guide everyone and have like a strong team definitely helps improve that spirit that we have on the team.
Yeah, exactly.
Like when it comes to our relays for track or swimming, our entire team is like there to cheer on. Like you hear the Loretto Abbey spirit and hype.
And it,
so yeah, I get why that would
exactly.
be.
And it ties in with like even like our cheers, our chants, like even the Gator mascot that we have, all of that, I feel like we're all so closely associated with like the team spirit that we have here at the school,
Yes.
which is why when we bring that, you know, onto the field or into different sports, that I'm really glad that people see us as a really united family, because that's what our school strives to be.
And I feel like especially now with we have like a Instagram page dedicated to sports, the school spirit is definitely like projected more to other schools, so why they're able to see that.
Now everyone around the city that's competing in these is able to see how you guys are performing, and that's once again emphasizing that team spirit. That was really nice to hear from
Now before we jump into the next question, we have a quick sponsor.
By Loretto Abbey's Leadership Program. Are you interested in becoming a leader, helping with initiatives around the school, making your high school experience one to remember? Join the leadership team now. Our leadership class will provide you with lots of tools and experiences you need to become a confident, effective leader. Connect with like-minded peers, host events like LAT Blue Out Pep Rally, peer tutoring, and servant leadership. If you're interested in applying to the program, come and speak to Mr. C. Famia for more information.
Now for our last question, what's a negative perception you have and why?
While they have this high team spirit and positive energy, which is crucial to any team, I have heard that they don't necessarily have the resources that are needed to fully support them. For example, at one of our school's soccer games, I remember hearing that Loretto didn't even have a proper field to practice on. It made me realize how lucky and fortunate we were to have such nice facilities at Michael Power. As well as at the TDCAA track meet, I noticed that some schools, like Loretto, were using some pretty outdated equipment.
A negative thing about Loretto's extracurriculars or sports would be that they don't have enough people in some activities or sports that is needed, and so that makes their goal even farther to reach and makes them have to work twice as hard as they need to.
The cons are kind of funny.
We've heard this one before.
Because the thing is, like, you can see this. Anyone at these meets can see these cons a little bit too well. So first is funding. It's not even like we don't have enough money to go to these events. It's more like when we're there. Like, and a specific example that rings a bell, I'm pretty sure this is why this was brought up, was we were at this track meet and it's like pouring rain. It's like drenched, like everywhere is drenched, and our entire team, which is pretty big this year, so involvement's a little higher this year.
Yeah.
But our entire team of like 30 girls and all of their track bags, all of their bags was stuffed under this one little like canopy.
Oh my god, so it wouldn't get wet.
And then you see next door, you see like schools like Neil McNeil or you see De La Salle, they have these beautiful school branded tents that like protect everything. They're massive.
And you guys all had everything piled into one corner. Oh no.
Like, make sure you're squished, like everything's as close as you can be.
And you have to go to your race like drenched in water.
So
yes.
I see that, but involvement specifically this year is definitely a lot better.
Okay.
Last year we were definitely struggling with involvement. The swim team, because of COVID, I feel like we had to bring back involvement.
Yeah, COVID
so
did mess up a
we're
lot.
still trying to get back there. And like last year, the track team, I think at the first event it was like 10 people maybe.
Okay.
I feel like this even is with academics as well. Like
Yes,
involvement,
yeah.
you gotta kind of
You really have to
rally
push that
everyone
involvement.
back. But this year, you know, I think we're a lot better. But like all boys schools in the board, they
Yeah.
have at least double the amount of students. So I see how like that can be perceived.
And then they work hand in hand, right? Because we have lower involvement, that means the funding that's allocated is lower.
Yes.
Because once again, the involvement is lower. So the fact that they pointed them out, it's things we've heard
and
before.
It kind of goes hand in hand. Yeah, I see these.
We see them in Model UN too. Like our funding is reduced because we have lower involvement, but I guess it makes it better because the people that are there are the
Yeah.
ones that do want to be
And
there.
I see these, but we're definitely working on them.
Yeah, totally.
Give it a few years, this reputation
Yeah.
we'll get it there.
Yes.
So some of our thoughts were definitely confirmed.
Yeah, we were pretty
And then
close, yeah.
Also, there were definitely new things that we didn't think people
I didn't
saw.
even think about the funding.
Yes.
Like I thought.
I feel that personally sometimes.
Yeah, I do too.
But I didn't think people would
Perceive it
as that.
But at least they do see us as like a school that does have school support. You know, we have dedicated
Yes.
coaches, team
And,
spirit. So
yes, we have negatives, but they're not that bad.
Yeah, no,
like, there's
absolutely
way
not.
worse. Like,
and everyone, they view us as a school that we do well. You know, we're very dedicated, and
Yeah.
that's what our school strives to be.
yeah.
You know,
I'm glad that was the outcome. It could have been
exactly.
pretty bad.
And the fact that they're recognizing that our teachers are there to support us, that's what makes me happy
Yes.
because our teachers are there for us every step of the way.
Yes,
and at
100%.
least they're getting the credit from other schools as well. That
Yes.
makes me really happy.
So that concludes our podcast.
Yes, thank you guys for listening.
That we debunked a whole bunch of misconceptions. You know, we talked through a little bit of what people think about our school.
Exactly. And we learned some new things. So thank you all so much for listening, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.